And Madam Chair, again, thanks for holding this very important hearing. It's important that federal agencies be headed by competent and capable people, and it's equally important that these folks understand that the decisions they make can have dramatic impacts, including dramatic economic impacts on the livelihoods of our fellow citizens. With that in mind, I want to highlight in my opening statement the ongoing deep frustration Louisianians are having with the Department of Interior over the ongoing de facto drilling moratorium in the Gulf. And that's directly relevant because it is interior and because all signs point to Fish and Wildlife and other environmental related agencies becoming much more involved in that permitting process. This de facto moratorium is devastating lives, costing jobs, devastating companies. Since the Deepwater Horizon explosion, and that's 8 months ago now, there have been 0 new deepwater exploration permits issued. 0. Since that incident, horrific incident, again 8 months ago, the 32 deepwater operations that were operating are still either completely shut down or there's been a marginal improvement at best. And that translates into jobs and people's lives being directly hurt. For 8 months straight before this month, Louisiana unemployment went up. As national unemployment was, thank goodness, stabilizing, Louisiana unemployment went up month after month for 8 months straight, and that is directly related to this. And just last week, the second largest shallow water driller in the Gulf, Seahawk Drilling, filed bankruptcy because shallow water is still also impacted. Those permits have slowed, although it's not as bad as deep water. Bottom line here, Louisianians want to get back to work, and filling those jobs is my absolute top priority, and that has to come first. Secondly, there's even an impact on things we're debating right now in terms of debt and deficit and the budget. After the U.S. income tax, the second largest source of federal revenue is royalty and other revenue related to that domestic energy production. And so we're shutting that down and dramatically reducing that as well, even in a time where we're all rightly concerned about deficit and debt. One thing related to this, Century Exploration recently filed a lawsuit against the federal government, against the Interior Department, and I think this is just the beginning, for breach of contract, asking for their money back, asking for lost profits because they bought leases which are now pretty much good for nothing. My frustration is only increased by non-responses from the Interior Department. And that includes, for instance, a November 21st letter from last year, which still has not been responded to, and a February 3rd letter from this year, which still has not been responded to in terms of this issue. And those were not addressed to you, of course, Mr. Ashe. They were addressed to some of your significant colleagues in Interior. This is consistent, unfortunately, with the fact that the Department was handed a civil contempt order recently by the federal judge handling these matters in terms of how the Department has handled the whole de facto moratorium and moratorium issue. I can't overstate how devastating this has been to so many Louisianians and how frustrated Louisianians are with this pattern of actions by the Interior Department. And that is my top concern. Filling those Louisianians' job is my top priority, and that has to come first.